Alrighty, so I've been kind of tied up on this little project to change the color of my bathroom from pink tile to just plain blue painted walls and such. So you can see we redid everything in the bathroom. Took the old door off, put new hinges, completely stripped it and painted it, new doorknob. We had to redo the door frame because it was sticking out too far because the old walls were thick with plaster and tile. So we added a little 1/4 inch thick piece inside here all around the outside of the frame after taking off the door frame, ripping all the plaster and all the tile off the wall. The tile went up to about chest high around the room. Had built-in soap dishes, and I was going to try and save it, but the guy had snapped off the soap dishes and things like that and broken some of it to put paneling on the top half of the room. So we installed a vanity, tried to get a little thinner one. This is a little narrower than a normal one, but we were trying for some drawer space in here and stuff. So you can see it's got 6 drawers. It's just a single vanity though, not a double vanity. And then we took out the bathtub and put in a 42-inch wide shower and an 18-inch wide cabinet, which was a really tight squeeze. But we put a little block of wood. I got to paint that yet. And only problem with this is our sliding glass doors are about 23.5 inches wide. And since it's about a 42-inch opening here, I mean, a little less, about 41.5 from the wall to the cabinet. We put a little piece of plywood on the end of the cabinet to provide us with a wall for the shower, and screwed it to the ceiling and the wall behind it. The cabinet's attached to the wall, screwed through the cabinet to the wall to provide us with a strong support for this side of the shower, because it was only a 5-foot opening for the bathtub originally. But you can see there's a lot of overlap. They said, oh, this fits 42 to 48-inch showers, but it's not really that great for a 42. They should have a door that's only about 21 inches. Put in the new Moen balancing valves that don't let you get scalded if someone flushes the toilet. We never had that problem anyway, because all our pipes are individual 1/2-inch copper lines to each thing, so we don't really lose pressure when someone flushes the toilet. But got a plastic shower pan tray, and replaced the old plumbing that used to be like 1.5-inch brass pipe and put in a new plastic pipe in the basement with a 2-inch drain for the shower, because they want a new 2-inch drain nowadays. And we put in, it had lead pipe for the toilet, the lead drain line, so we replaced that because that was falling apart at the top. They were all mangled. And all the walls are just plasterboard in here, but it's that blue water and mold and mildew resistant plasterboard with a satin finish paint. I put the toilet in with an electrical outlet back there, and I like to turn the valves at a 90-degree angle on purpose so that the hose is tucked back out of the way, and it provides a room for bending the hose. So I just buy the longest hose and don't have to worry about how long is the hose going to be to kind of wind up with like a little pigtail there. The molding in here, they make a pre-finished molding that's plastic covered. You can either get it solid plastic or plastic over like particle board, and I put that around the room because you don't actually have to paint it. I actually glued the wood molding to the wall, which is not really wood, and then caulked it on the top and bottom. I used that new amp caulk, which I think works better than the silicone does. and doesn't attract dirt as much. Got a Toto toilet that is a much nicer flush than the old American Standard one was. It's got that new swirling action that doesn't have little jets all around the edge. It just has like 3 main swirls. Seems to work a lot nicer. And then we just glued the backing. It's like a cultured marble or whatever, where they mix, stone dust and plastic together to make these countertops now. So they look like stone or something, but they're just plastic and dust and stuff mixed. And it's a recessed sink and everything. Probably could have gone a little narrower on the width of the sink because it doesn't leave us a huge space between the cabinet and the sink. But it's very hard to find any really narrow cabinets. I put in extra outlets just in case somebody wanted to plug in God knows what night lights and freaking... It has a night light in the ceiling, but we have outlets so that people can plug whatever they want in, from cordless toothbrush to hair dryers and all. It's got a separate 20 amp circuit all tied in here. Everything in the bathroom on the outlets is on one circuit, and the lights are on the overhead lights. Then there's a heated towel bar. We decided to try that. And it came with a built-in timer, which kind of screwed me up because originally I put in a separate outlet down there. And I had a timer over here where this outlet was. I was having GFI and then a timer. Then I was going to have that outlet down there come on and off. But if you turn on this power, you can see that the towel bar light comes on, and then you have a timer built in, 2 or 4 hours. And it gets about 120, 130 degrees. It doesn't really get that hot, so you don't burn yourself on it. I think it's more like 115 or something. It's trying to keep it under 120, I think they are. But you can manually turn it on and off. But you can't use a separate timer because the timer kills the power to this, and then when you turn it back on, you have to manually go over and turn the switch on and off anyway because it's an electronic switch. So they didn't tell you in the thing that it had a built-in timer and that you couldn't use a remote timer. I had it down lower and was gonna have it out of the way, but now I have to be able to reach the switch, easily. So, and we had to center it so it didn't bang into the back of the door, because the door's recessed panel there. It helps having the thing spaced a little further from the wall. That's why it's kind of overlapping. In hindsight, I should have put the outlets a little further, but there's a beam right here, right in the way. And then there's the vent for the sink next to that, which comes up on a 45. And we put in trying for nickel plated look, satin nickel. But I had these old lights and I put them up and realized later that I had bought them a long time ago in chrome. So one of these days we'll change those out. We have the new flat LEDs over the top of that are water resistant and all that. Over the top, all it is a flat disc inside there that has a little separate transformer box, so you don't have to put in space for a regular can light and all that, and have all that heat and everything else. You just slip this in there and then attach it to the wire, and it's a lot easier to install than cans are. This used to be a big curved arch over the top of the tub with tile and everything and all sorts of stuff, and it actually gave us like about an inch more space all around the room because of taking the tile off the wall. It was a bear getting the tile off. But that's about it for this cabinet here. It provides us with lots of room for storage. My wife wanted to have some storage in the bathroom, even though we have a little closet outside the bathroom. That way you can keep the spare towels and toilet paper and all that right in here. And we have storage underneath there too. But this way it frees up some space in the hall closet out there. And the window was interesting. This is the new, the Anderson what's it called? The 400. It's the wood on the inside, but plastic on the outside window. Yeah, it has a plastic pre-made molding around it on the outside, so it's all weatherproof. So I stained it on the inside. I guess I should put polyurethane on it. But there's a little groove runs in the front of it. So I took a piece of PVC molding that was just a flat board, actually. It was a lot cheaper to buy a big flat, like 1x6 size board. So I was using for stuff like my garage around the entryway and stuff. And then just make a groove. And of course, now it's not going to focus. And the groove is goes into the front here of the wood, and goes across the window, slides in, and then you notch it for either side. And then only nails I put in was a couple nails underneath where these pieces are. There's a couple little nails going in, some finishing nails, and up underneath. But it's all solid plastic, so you don't really, see any nail holes or anything. I glued that on too, trying to eliminate having little nail holes to fill with putty, because this is plastic too. Now this I tried solid plastic to see how that would work out, and it's finished solid plastic, so it's supposed to not need painting or anything of that sort, and that'll keep it from having to be, you can just wipe it down, wash it. It won't get paint peeling and stuff like that from the humidity in the bathroom. I think this would be a good option with a vinyl window, not a wood one, but to put like in a shower or something. If you have a window in a shower, and that way you don't have to worry about the wood peeling and getting damaged and rotted from moisture in the bathroom. We put in the nice Panasonic fan. It's virtually silent. You can see that it has a built-in light and night light. We put a separate, it's pretty quiet. It actually got a little bit noisier from all the dust buildup. I have to vacuum it again. Probably slightly out of balance or something. But we ran a big 6-inch flex hose with like a curled shape so that the air wouldn't just rise up out of the bathroom, up out of the roof vent. And it actually is supposed to be automated. See that little green light? It's supposed to be a motion sensor, and there's also a humidity sensor. The motion sensor works, but the thing doesn't work as good as you'd hope. It's supposed to be, the idea is that you can just turn it on, leave it on, and that way it'll get rid of bad smells or humidity in the bathroom after you leave, and you can just leave it on. But of course, those automatic sensors start to wear out or goof up with dust on them or whatever, and over time the thing just comes on when it feels like it, and it senses motion of some sunlight shining in the room by heating up the floor or something, and decides to come on. Or so we pretty much turn it on and off as we go in and out. I don't know, but I do like the Panasonic silent. It's pretty quiet, really quiet when we first put it in, and I think it gained a little noise because I've cleaned it several times of the fins. All these light switches are so that you can customize which lights you get. You got switched for the side lights. It's supposed to be good for putting on makeup or something. And the top light over the top of there, so it's not so bright in here. And the light over the top of the shower. But it's all on this one light switch. So when you turn on the one light switch, you turn on all the lights. And you can see there's also a night light, which is controlled by this switch over here, in here. And the fan is turned on and off. The fan's actually on its own separate circuit with the lighting of the ceiling, and it doesn't turn on and off with the light switch. So that we can leave the fan on if we want to, if it's humid in here after taking a shower or something like that, and then just turn it off the next time we come back in. Like I said, theoretically, the sensor is supposed to allow you to set it at like 60-70% humidity, and whenever it gets below that, it shuts off. But I think those sensors, you know, are never that reliable. It's like motion sensors. I've never had much luck with them working perfectly. You know, they work sometimes and not others, you know. But trying for the least amount of having to paint the trim and all that sort of thing. And I think it worked out pretty well. There's a few little spots I have to touch up. I put something on the wall there and had to take it off and then wound up with a little spot. So, yeah, I saved some of the paint. And the little trick for that was to put the paint into a plastic bottle that's just about exactly the size of the amount of paint you have left over, you know, whether it be a quart or whatever. And then put the plastic bottle, you know, put some marbles in the bottom of it. And that way you can just shake up the bottle and write on it, you know, that's for the bathroom, you know, paint, and shake it up when you need to dribble out a little bit into a cup to do a touch up or something. Also, underneath this is in the floor heating. We took the copper pipes of our heating system and just ran them back and forth in between the studs. So there's about 4 loops going back and forth instead of running like PEX or something. So I run it at the full heat of whatever the heating system puts out, which is variable because it's a high efficiency gas boiler. It puts out somewhere between 120 and 180, you know, depending on what temperature it is outside. You know, the colder it gets outside, the higher the temp. But it's just sitting up against the floor. It's not like got heat shields or anything, and it does provide enough heat. We used to have all kinds of holes in this wall with a vent hole through the wall, and they had actually cut out a 2x4 to put the vent in. And the vent stack had big gaping holes, so the cold air that leaked around the vent also ran into the basement and down through the attic in the basement. So we took that out and fixed and put an extra 2x4 back in there, and took out a medicine cabinet that he put into the wall over there. That, you know, was always ice cold. It was like refrigerated medicine in the winter and heated medicine in the summer, because it was pretty much up against the outside of the house. It was only like a ½ inch of, you know, particle board behind it or whatever. And that was about it inside the wall there. And there was a radiator in the wall. So there was no radiator there anymore. The radiator was half in the room and half out of the room. A big, like 2 foot high by, you know, 3 foot wide radiator. It would have been all the way up to where this cabinet is, almost about 1 inch or 2 short, and up to where the toilet is. And I thought it took up a lot of space and wasn't really necessary. And the same problem is it's right up against the outside of the house, so it's not a very efficient way of doing it. You know, you wind up with like 3 inches inside and 3 inches in the wall of a radiator. So it is it's like about 6 inches wide total, but, you know, provides a lot of heat out of one radiator. But we don't really get very cold in here with the floor heating. It actually stays pretty good in here, you know. Otherwise, that's about it, I guess. You know, you have any questions, you know, let me know. Basically, we started off as a project to change from horrible pink tile and pink toilet and stuff and tub to something more reasonable. And now we can change it to whatever color we feel like. But, you know, it was a hell of a bear. The walls were all, you know, lath with metal lath, expanded metal lath, but it had 1/8 inch diameter metal rods through it for reinforcement. So you couldn't just break it and chop it out. You had to like get a grinder or cutters and cut each metal rod individually. Even like a side cutter or something had a hard time cutting the metal rods and just beating on it. So we had to get it impact hammer and chisel it out, you know, and cutting it in pieces. Because it just breaking it wouldn't work because it was too well held together with all the reinforcement. And, you know, the plastic tray worked out really nice. I like this particular one. If you have a floor that's underneath it, it actually has a trap that we put in it that's offset a little bit. So we could put in whatever floor drain fitting we wanted. And this one's offset like 1 inch or so, which helps us miss the beam in the basement. because of course, you know, all these showers center the pipe. You perfectly wind up right where a beam is. So we wound up putting an offset thing. Maybe I'll show what the piping underneath looks like, but we replaced it mostly all with 2-inch plastic pipe, and you know, even to the sink and stuff, just to be big enough to carry any future, you know, amount of water that, you know, somebody might decide we need bigger, because it was 1.25 and 1.5 inch pipe in the past. So that's about it. Oh yeah, the floor was not exactly level and perfectly flat, of course, because it's a 1950 old house. So we put in, we were going to put in these nice hard Dura-Rock tiles that they don't make anymore, that were leftovers, but they were too stiff. You know, they didn't want to bend to meet the irregularities of the floor. So you can see there's tiny gaps in the some of these are just the self-stick marble floor tiles, which I like. They actually hold up pretty well and they're easy to put down. You know, you just basically clean the floor real well and put down a nice smooth surface under it, and then you just, you know, cut them with the backing on it and slip them in, you know, place, get them fitted dry, you know, with the backing still on. Once it's all fitted, then you just peel the backing and stick it down. And they're made to look random like that, to give you, you know, the effect of a real stone. Because you don't want to have them all look the same, or it wouldn't really look like actual stone. So, all right, that's about it, and thanks for watching.